Not sure what happened, but my microphone was off in my software. But I've been paying attention. I'm learning. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the post show. I haven't had a post show in a long time, so let's talk just a little bit about what we're going to talk about. I want to give a shout out to creatives out there. That's anybody who loves to create. And I wanted to give you this quote: change is something you get when you go after anything new. Let me do it one more time. This is a Keith Bennett quote. I don't know if anybody else has said it, but if they did, I give them credit. But change is something you get when you go out after anything new, or you go after anything new. And we think of change jingling in our pockets, right? When you go up and buy something, you give them $5 and they give you so many dollars back, or give them $20 to give you change. And sometimes it's coins and you throw those in their pocket and they jingle. I'm not talking about that change, but you get change when you buy something new from a store a lot of times, and it might be change that rattles in your pocket, but change is something you get every time you go out after anything new. So when Shannon and I decided we were going to build this new house next to her parents, that caused change. We needed to sell our old house. When Shannon convinced me that she needed to move into my old recording studio when I wasn't really using it anymore, I sold off the gear. She moved from upstairs in our house to downstairs. I moved upstairs and had to pull sheetrock off and create another studio. So I had to be honest with you, it's a lot of work, but I love change. I like things. I mean, I like the same burgers. I get the same omelet at the restaurant that I eat at. So again, I am a creature of habit, and there's certain things that I just do the same all the time. You create these kind of these habits that you have, and you don't sometimes get outside of those boxes. But when it comes to creativity, I absolutely love creatives. I love creativity, and change is something that comes. And they say when you get older, people don't like to change. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And I believe all that stuff is true. I know some old dogs, both dogs and some people that have been around for a long time. And I've led people before, both in the work area, in friends doing projects where someone needed to gather everybody together to get the project done. And I know what it's like sometimes to help people process new things and move into situations and change things in their world. So I want to give a shout out tonight to creatives. This is part 2 of a series I started a while back on creativity. I have that still image here on my channel. I will link that video tonight after this isn't live anymore. So you'll see a dynamic link right up there, and you can go watch the first movie or video or live stream on creativity. A shout out to creatives. And if you didn't see tonight's still image, let me just pop it real quickly up on the screen. So this is kind of a new look for me. You can see me laughing because I really believe that change and the things that we go through as creatives really can give you great joy. And that picture is just one of those I have in my archives of me laughing and the camera snapping away. And so I wanted to share that picture with you tonight. And there's a couple other things that are in that picture that we're going to talk about tonight. And I'll put the slide and my face on the screen when we do that. So we're going to talk about creatives, why I like creatives. We're going to talk about why a rat for Ratso, and Ratso is coming in the studio shortly. He's got his way in under my desk, that little hole there. And so Ratso, when I see him down there, we'll get him and we'll bring him into the live show tonight. But I want to talk a little bit about why a rat tonight. I want to talk again tonight about some of the other things. Again, let's pop that still image up differently. Well, let's do this. Let's just say hi here and greet some folks that are live with me here in the chat. So I think I'm ready to go here. So let me clear that and put chat on the air here. And of course, as always, thank you so much, Freddie, for being so faithful. Oh, let's get that up there. Freddie's trying to hide. So I don't know what the deal is, Freddie. You popping up and down there and hiding and popping back up again. But thanks for joining me tonight. Tony, as always, thank you. It looks like it's just us tonight, which is perfectly fine with me. It is the post show. It will go up on my channel. And yeah, the key light is doing a reflection in my eyes because I'm a little bit far back. And so if I get down like this, I shouldn't get that key light reflection. I can move it up a little bit, Freddie, you're right. I don't really want that reflection like this in my glasses. So when I get a little animated, I get further back, and then that light is a little out of position. But you're learning, and I'm learning from you. So that's insight and input. And because of that, I can see without this glare. So, and we can adjust that light right now. Let's do it. I just put it up a couple inches. And so hopefully it will not get in my glasses as easily, not much, just a couple inches, because I do want it to create that little reflection in my eyes, which is what you want for good quality video. But thank you for pointing that out, Freddie. Tony, good to have you here. Tony says, grabbing dinner now and watching the replay. Cool. Well, glad you joined me, Tony. I know that time changed here, and I don't know how that influences everybody that normally joins me live. But again, it's always great to have you on the live streams with me. And so hopefully more people will join me in the post show. They should have got alerts that I'm live. And some people don't want to do 2 shows. I get that. And then Freddie is saying that short video from the factory from my phone. Yeah, I want to show people that you can stream from your phone. You can use the Rode Lav Mic kit. I'm taking it with me. I want to teach them to do live. So what's probably going to happen in the next few months is we're going to actually go live from Forest River's page, and we're also going to go live from my page. And I want to teach these guys how to go live so that they can continue building their influence in this market. What happens, Freddie, and what we're really going to be focusing on with Forest River, which if you weren't in the live show, I talked about this new opportunity. I have a new client. I'll probably be working with them X amount of days a year. We don't quite know yet, but I have 2 days I'm going to be traveling at the end of this month, first part of December, all the way down to Dallas, Oregon, which is about 5 hours away. Going to go to a factory. We're going to meet up with 5 of the reps, and these reps are all over the country, but they're all going to converge on the factory because those 5 reps, representatives, they're sales reps for the manufacturer that makes these travel trailers, and they have 5 brands that come off that line, that factory line. And so we're going to converge there. Our goal is to shoot 2 days, shoot some RVs, shoot some employees, shoot the factory construction process, do some shorts, do some long videos. I bought a new matte box for some of the outdoor shoots for that event, and it would be fun to go live there. And what I'm helping them do is build their local presence, because a lot of the stuff that's done on the web is done on their main website at Forest River, and that's back east. Obviously, the websites can be accessed anywhere in the world, but the real point I'm getting at here is that they have influence locally and in the Northwest because people type in Forest River and the page of the factory comes up in Google. It also can come up to different products that they sell. So we'll talk more about those 5 products down the road after we get some footage and go live from the factory. But again, I just want to help them create this Northwest influence. And then also I'm going to be providing them with a bunch of footage and photographs and things. And a lot of that I will edit and they will finish editing. It's going to be a conglomeration of the team, the Forest River team, and then I will be providing all of this extra input, and that'll be exciting for me, and that's what Freddie's talking about, and that will be a fun live. So let's get into tonight's topic. And again, if you pop in tonight live, I would love to say hi to you. Let me go ahead and hit record again. And now we are recording. You can see right there, and you can do 2 hard drives. I only have 1 available to me right now. It is recording and it's only half full. So I'm just recording the program out, and hopefully my lips are in sync. Let me know, guys, tonight if they're not, and I can make an adjustment there. Freddie, if you wanted to re-say what you were going to say, because it looks like you retracted a message, I will be happy to answer that message as well. I'm also monitoring tonight from my phone. So the last text I have on here is from Tony. And then Freddie, it says, my lip sync is okay. Let's put that up here just for archiving the footage. So the lip sync is good. That is great. So if you don't know this, inside the control software from Blackmagic Design, and let's go ahead and demo this real quickly. It'll be fun here. So me and my laptop, it's my post show. So these are still images I'm using tonight, mainly for my live show, but you can see that this is the still image from the live show right here. This is the still image for the post show. And then I have all these images. Now, if I just use a key and put a key up on the screen from like that top media player, then I can just drag and drop things over. Now, if I do that right now, I'm gonna disappear because this logo is in Media Player 1 right now. But if I pop in tonight still, watch, I will go away until I put that logo back. So if I drop this in here, you see I go away. And then if I scroll down here and pop the logo back in, I come back. So if I go over here to audio, and again, I have my screen size really whacked out tonight. So I apologize for my desktop. But right up here in mic 1, I can click right here and I can set some frame delay. So what this does is let me take the audio. If the audio is getting to me too fast, to the video too fast, then I can slow the audio down and change the frames so they match up better. And I can do 8 frames of delay. Now, if I move this right now, which I'm not going to, but let's go over to channel 2, which I have my lav mic from DJI plugged in, not on, but if I wanted to go to the table, to the other set, I could. But Christopher isn't going to make it tonight for the post show, so I'm not going to use that set. But I could create some frame delay by just rolling this up and adding how many frames I want. And then I would save startup state right here. And that means every time I start up my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, which is what I have the software open for right now, then that means that it would have these frame delays set up. But I haven't had any frame delay lately, and I don't know why that is. I did for a while, and then Blackmagic Design did a couple updates, and that update seemed to fix my issue. Remember, I'm using my Rodecaster Pro, and so that is why I sometimes have to adjust the delay between my microphone and my video. Now, if you have a microphone on your camera and you're feeding it into your camera, then the audio comes down the same HDMI cable and you shouldn't have any lip sync issues at all. But I'm feeding my audio into mic number 1, and you can see mic number 1 is live right here. You can see a little bit of audio. You can see it's live. And so that audio is coming separately through my my Rodecaster Pro version 2, and so sometimes the audio gets delayed going from the from this microphone, Rodecaster Pro, all the way over to my ATEM Extreme ISO through another cable, and then it hits the video. They're mixed together, and then they're put out in a program. Same thing happens if I play a video that already has the audio on it, already synced. That goes out my program too. But where your lip sync issue comes from is usually your microphone in the studio. That's why you only have these 2 mic inputs, and they're the only inputs that have frame delay. None of the other inputs have this little box right here, because all this audio would be coming directly from the camera or directly from the HyperDAC, whatever you're sending audio in. Maybe you have an Apple TV hooked up. That audio is already synced up coming down the HDMI cable. So that is how that works. So back to this view, I probably should have done my stinger so I could have posted that as an extra video. So, okay, what I want to do now is go to this other view right here, slideshow, and I want to pop up an image here real quickly. So let me drag this back over. Let's see here. Let me pop in tonight's still image and talk a little bit about creatives. So you can see here in this still image, I'm working on some projects. the bottom project there, I was actually wiring my old studio. So I had a control room, and then I had the recording room separated by 12-inch walls. And then in the middle, 4x8, two separate panes of glass separated by about 4 inches. And so I needed to wire in all of these cables that were going into my recording room, also back to my sound booth. So there I am, wanting to change and add a studio to my house. So I had to sit down meticulously and solder and wire all of those cables. Now, Tony, you can probably relate to that experience. And then that next slide over, that's me working with Matt at the church, helping him set up his new Blackmagic Design 6K Pro, his Teradek Spark receiver, putting it together on the DJI version 2, I believe they had, RS2, and putting all that kit together, getting it stabilized, getting it working, and also building his tilt-a-cage kit. So now they were trying to get a better backup camera in the back of the sound, in the drum area, and so they needed a new mobile way to shoot. Plus, they were getting huge frame delays from their Canon or their Sony camera. They had a Sony Cam camera, and they were getting lots of frame delays. And to buy the equipment to deal with lip delays in that particular room with these long runs all the way from the backstage, all the way through the auditorium to the sound booth and then upstairs. So we felt like the best way to run that back mobile camera was to get a mobile device to send and receive, send video and audio if needed to all the way up to where the switcher was. And they have an 8K Blackmagic Design switcher. Again, it's rack mounted. And so the best solution that we could come up with our research was a Teradek Spark. It has very little, if any, delay, and it also has a great signal. So they wanted to be able to go mobile into the lobby, mobile different places. And so once we got it, we did some testing that day, and it worked great. The only place we lost the signal was when we go under the balcony in the main auditorium, which is probably not a place that we would do a lot of mobile streaming from. So again, backstage by the drums is where this kit normally exists, but I'm moving them towards using it in different venues for interviews and things like that. I just have been very busy this season, and so I want to do that. Again, it's all volunteer for this particular church. It's my parents' church. Matt was in my son's band, so he's come to me as a friend asking me for input, and that's why we're doing that. So the next picture is me with my pop keys and my little robot being creative. Here's my robot. And what I wanted to do is do a short video on just being creative. And so I took the pop keys out of my drawer, and you can change 4 of these keys. I see 3 of them here. So I'll hold them up. And that short, let's change cameras here. These pop keys can change on the keyboard. So I can change it to multiple smiley faces, and all of those go right on these keys, because when I'm in the chat, and I'll show you this, guys, right now. Let me go into the chat, and let me go ahead and hit the thumbs up, and then hit enter. And you can see it does a thumbs up. Now, if I want to do the praying hands for whatever reason, the smiley face next to that, the crying smiley face, and then hearts, I can just hit enter. And so I can automatically do these. And again, I can have 3 different devices attached to this keyboard. So I have my main PC. I can also go to my iPad, and I can also go to my laptop, all from this one keyboard. So I was wanting to be creative going with my robot and the pop keys, and that's why I did this little slide. So let me pop it back in here again. And that little still image is from one of my shorts on my channel. So shorts are one way that I get to be creative. Working in that studio, my studio here is a way I get to be creative. Working with people outside of the studio is the way I get to be creative. And then I love to be inspired as well. And one of the ways I'm inspired is by other people. And you can see Spider-Man over there on the other side. I got a chance to go to Disney land this year with Shannon, and we went to California Adventure, and we went to this Spider-Man place there where Spider-Man, a robot, flies through the air and crashes on the other side. You don't see it, but into a big spring thing. And then the Spider-Man character, who's just in a costume, shows up. But this mechanical Spider-Man robot AI flies through the air, and you get to see this all right outside this building. And it's super, super creative, and it's inspiring to me. So that's one of the things that I draw inspiration from. So I wanted to talk about a picture here. And I went to a Christmas party at the last company I worked for, and there was Kyle. Kyle is a great young guy. In fact, I knew his mother-in-law when she was a teenager, and did not know Kyle was married into that family. And that very night where you see Kyle in the still image, I'll give you a closer up image of that. Let me go back to this view. And then let's turn the key off the air. And let me drop this in full screen, guys. So you can see Kyle standing next to me, and he had this incredible outfit on. I was super, super impressed with this outfit because I thought it was really, really, really cool for him to wear that outfit that night. I learned that he was a creative individual, a character, great personality. And so over some period of time, Kyle and I collaborated on some videos, and he produced a really cool video at one point. We had this kind of alien sale, believe it or not, and he created this whole video. I think that video is available on Blue Dog RV TV site. I'll try to find it tonight and put it in a link in the description. But Kyle created that whole video, so he's a creative. And the reason I was thinking about Kyle tonight is not only did he inspire me and how he dressed that night at the Christmas party, and I was the MC that night, emceeing this company-wide Christmas party, but that night I saw his wife, and I realized she looks exactly like a teenager I've known from years and years ago. And I looked at her, his bride, his wife, and I said, I think I know your mom because you look almost exactly like her when she was younger. And so sure enough, it was the wife of Kyle, and it was the daughter of this teenager I had known years and years ago. And it was quite fascinating. So Kyle's very creative. Kyle has been a leader in the company that I was at before. He's now working with us in the new company that we're working with right now. And I'm really excited about working with him. So I wanted to give a shout out to him and a shout out to Matt, because they're actually inside the still image tonight. And so creativity is something that I'm really passionate about. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about creativity. Not only does change happen when you go after anything new, when you are a creative, right, you have to learn new things. So what I love about being a creative, and I am a creative, right? My dad was a nuclear engineer. I did some artwork when I was younger. Many of you guys know about my ventriloquist experience, and we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight as we close the show. But so stay tuned for Ratso, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why the rat and the creative part of that. But creativity is something that is going to create learning experiences, right? As I wanted to be a photographer and actually got hands-on, I had to start learning about photography. You have to learn about shutter speed. You have to learn about aperture. Shutter speed is just the shutter that opens and closes to let light in. The aperture is how wide the lens opens up. So believe it or not, the lower the number, the wider the aperture. So like a 1.2 lens is very, very wide. It lets a lot of light in. I had to learn all that stuff as I started to study photography. I wanted to be able to stop motion. So someone jump up. I wanted to be able to set my iPhone so I could freeze a group of people in the air. And so I learned how to change the program I was using in my iPhone so that I had control over shutter speed. And you may not know this, but as you grow and as you create these new opportunities and you learn these new things, you can create photographs you never thought you could take before. And so I was able to set my shutter speed very fast, you know, anywhere from about 180 to 240 shutter speed will really freeze the frame. If you want to just make it look like they're hovering in the sky, then just crank up that shutter speed to like 240, or if a speeding car goes by and you want to stop and freeze it, you can do that once you understand how that works in photography. And then obviously the sensitivity of the chip in your camera, it used to be film. You need to understand how that works. And obviously the higher a number using your camera sensor obviously creates more and more of a grainy image, and it starts to break up. The newer the camera, the more expensive the camera usually, the better that is in low light. And then obviously the chips are getting faster, the technology is getting faster. Even the newer iPhones with the small chips they have are getting better and better in low light. And again, low light is where you have a hard time getting that picture inside the camera. And so obviously as it tries to get more and more light quicker using that sensor, sometimes that image breaks down and it looks very grainy. And I learned that because I wanted to be a photographer. So video I'm learning, live stream I'm learning. And again, a shout out to creatives, because if you live stream or you're a photographer, you're a videographer, if you do things like I was doing, wiring and soldering those different signals in my studio through sound, using a soundboard and having to wire cables. If you do what Matt does and he controls the knobs at a big venue, adjusting the volume and mixing audio, if you're in the IT world, like many people that watch my channel are, or if you're just a general creative, you like to draw, you like to dance, you like to sing, I just wanted to give a shout out, part 2, to you tonight, because creativity, I think, changes the world that we're in and helps us learn and helps us grow. And so I never want to stop being creative. That's why this caught my eye, because I think this keyboard, which is called Pop Keys, it's by Logitech, I think it's very creative to have these, my ability to program these keys to whatever little picture I want to have. And then I can also change them to other images on there, and or I can make any one of these little keys be whatever image is available. And so I like things like this, and learning how to use it came with purchasing it because I liked what it would be potentially able to do. Now, I don't do those little emojis very often in my live streams. I did tonight in the chat because I'm illustrating that. And the mouse has the ability to have one programmed here as well. And so I'm not sure what that is, but let's go ahead, click in the chat. I'll push the button, and then I can choose with that center button, it automatically brings up the emojis, and I can choose any one of the emojis here. So we'll just choose the eyeballs, and I'll hit enter again, and then I should be able to send it. And so now in the chat, I have those little eyeballs. So this little button in the middle of the Logi mouse opens up just emojis, and then I can click on whichever one I want. So again, change is what you get when you go after anything new. So a shout out to creatives like me that want to continue to grow and continue to learn things. And so that's awesome. So let me put chat back on the air here, and I want to say hi to Hank. Thank you for coming in, Hank. Also, DJ Ware, it's great to have you in the chat. Hang on, because Ratzo's coming very soon. It's a part of my creative world, but I want to talk about some of these other things as well. And then there is those eyeballs that I can use by using the center button in my pop mouse and then choosing that particular emoji in the live stream. So then these are the ones that I did from the keys right here. These are all on my keyboard right here. And so if I push those emojis while I'm typing in the chat, I can put all those on the screen. So the thing about my channel, right, and the creativity of live streaming is constantly experiencing new equipment, constantly adding new things in the studio to try to make things easier. I talked about the Elgato Stream Deck foot pedal that I have down here on the floor, so I can change the intensity of this light up or down, and I can also turn my hair light off. This actually shines in my eyes when I change cameras, so I'm starting to explore that foot pedal and use it while I'm live, and I can change it anytime and put whatever icon I want to have up there, and you can learn more about that than last week's live stream, even though last week's live stream ends abruptly because of our internet loss. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and it is always great to have you here live on the air with me. So a couple other things that I wanted to talk about in the post show. Let me get a drink here. Shout out again to Tony. He's having a bunch of collaborators come in his live stream next week, Tuesday, Eastern Standard Time, on Sunday, Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys subscribe to that, get ready for that. That will be a lot of fun. He's got a lot of special guests, and he talked about that at the end of the live show tonight. So he's going to be with a bunch of people that a lot of those people have been in his live streams before or on his channel, and some of them have actually probably been here occasionally here on my channel. So the other thing too is that when you're a creative, you're creating things that the rest of us use. So I'm very thankful for people that have been creating things like Adam Tao created mix effects. I use it in every live stream. I love to be able to have my macros open. I could adjust audio settings, transitions. I could change my upstream keys all from my iPad. And I love that. I love the fact that Adam Tao was on the show talking about it, answering questions. And I do want to have Adam on the live stream again before the end of the year, because he's made some really cool updates to Mix Effects. It is an app for an iPad or an iPhone, and if you haven't already, check it out, because again, creatives like Adam from the Bay Area, California, sitting there trying to come up with solutions for the company that he worked for. Now he's actually collaborating with Zoom, helping them add new and better features. And so it's exciting to know that Adam's gone from a company learning to write software, creating mix effects. Now his channel's exploded way past mine, and he's growing and creating, and that's really cool that I got to experience that and be a part of it. He's actually been live on me here on the channel. You can go back and watch my Mix Effects playlist, and you can hear from Adam way back before really many people didn't even know him, and he was here on our channel live, and that was really cool. So let me just say hi here to Kevin. Thank you for joining me, Kevin. It's always good to have you. We're talking tonight again about creativity, and I'm shouting out to creatives just like me. So creative people are the people that influence just about everything that we use, everything from drinks like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, right? You can go to coffee shops now and get lattes. So someone imported that, probably from another country here in the United States, and now there's these mobile coffee shops that you can pull up and order a drink. And so it's just amazing the creativity that has happened in our country and around the world, and countries where major inventions have been made, like Black Magic Design is from Australia. I have a regular guest that's on the live chat, and that's David Osler from down under in Australia, and that's where Black Magic Design is at. That's where they design. That's where they create ATEMs, Black Magic Design cameras, hyperdecks, all kinds of things are created by them, and they're changing it all the time. They're updating it, creating different tools like these desktop ATEM minis that a lot of us are using now to stream live. I love creative, so shout out to companies like Black Magic Design. And as we get closer to the holiday season, right? Hopefully you have a little bit of money to invest in someone in your house. I've shared this before, but I was influential in my son Bryson getting his first NZXT computer. That's a company that builds computers. I have a PC here right next to me, just off camera. I'll rotate this just so you can see me touching it. So that's my PC. Move that back. I also have a laptop here on my desk. And so a laptop and a PC at every one of my live shows. I run the chat through my PC through OBS, and I usually use my desktop to display things in my live stream. And I can also monitor the live stream and make sure we're doing really good. We are streaming fine, and we are recording tonight this live stream. So then when I was younger, right, I was a creative as well. I did artwork. I did some stipple work, which is like dots. I did some black wax boards where you paint a wax board with black ink, and then you scratch away every line, every detail in the picture. So the background is black and whatever you're drawing is white. I did some airbrushing when I was in high school. Actually, when I was in high school, I went to a vocational school for graphic design. And so I learned about designing ads and things like that as a teenager in a vocational school. And that started me on that creative learning journey. Who was to know that now we could just watch a YouTube video to figure out how to use After Effects? In fact, my wife's intro video that I use all the time in her live, not in a live stream, but in her podcast, which is on hold right now because of a couple issues. But that intro video, which has progressed over the 3 seasons, was from a guy on YouTube that teaches how to do Adobe Illustrator projects. And so I just followed his tutorial on YouTube, and I was able to create this amazing intro video for my wife's podcast. And I also started to absorb things like After Effects and how to use it. And you need After Effects to design things like this. I did not purchase this. I designed this subscribe animation, did that in After Effects. And so that was created by me, including the little share that falls off. That was all created by me in After Effects and then brought into my HyperDeck. And I used my upstream my upstream key to put that on the air. And then it goes off the air all by a macro. So all of these things that I'm learning now, I'm learning from other creatives. I'm learning from people in my circle of influence. And so much is going on these days. And so if you're not creating, I think you're missing out. So you don't have to be an artist to create. You don't have to be an engineer to create. You don't have to be a sound engineer to create. You don't have to even be a live streamer to create. If you can listen to live streamers, you can do things like my wife is doing right now. She's always wanted to build a dollhouse. In fact, I have some pictures on my phone. Let me see if I can actually switch over here to my iPhone. See if I can get this to cast here. See if this pops up here. Okay, and oh wow, I don't want that on the air right now. Chat off the air. And let me get into my pictures here. I'll show you guys actually a picture or a short little video of my wife's Okay, let me switch to this real quick. This is a little saw table that my wife got recently through Amazon. And this is her product area. That's her little case with all of the tools in there. And then on the table right there is her dollhouse. So hopefully this is going to play. Let me go to the next video right here. Here's her dollhouse. So she's getting ready to do the porch outside. She did the rocks this week. So here's my wife being super, super creative right here in my house because she's always wanted to do a dollhouse. I know that one's out of focus, but there you go. So my wife is also experiencing this creative energy, and my garage changed. My wife, I just got it cleaned out from my live stream I did doing how to light a green screen. And about a week later, Shannon and I were talking. She says, I've always wanted to do a dollhouse. And I said, do it. You're never going to get younger. Do it now. And so my wife ordered this kit. It's going to take her months to build this dollhouse. She's been wanting to do this since she was a little girl. That is what I'm talking about. Change is what you get when you go after anything new, and being creative can teach you new things. My wife is running her little saw. It's about this little big, little size table saw. And so she's learning how to do all of this stuff. She's cutting angles. My wife is actually learning to be a contractor right now. So she had to cut out each of the planks in her wood floor. So it's just amazing. I'll show you guys more video when her and I get on the live stream together and we talk about her dollhouse. I'm just archiving the footage right now for later. So, okay. Now, let's talk about one other thing about creativity. So creativity also can be you getting outside of your comfort zone. When I was younger, I'd never spoken in front of people before. And finally, I had an opportunity and I was scared to death, right? You get them in school sometimes because they ask you to stand up and give a report, which happened to me when I was in my high school years. But before that, I was asked to get up in front of this group of people at our church. And it was kind of like between an early service and a late service, there was this Sunday school time in the middle. And I was asked to get up and share something from that group. And I got up and I shared, and I was petrified. I was scared to death. And I got up and I shared it. I sat back down, not feeling like I did a very good job, and I probably didn't. But this sweet little old lady came up to me and she got right down at my level. And she said, "You did such an amazing job. I'm so proud of you." And that set a foundation for me to get over my fear. And over the years, I've done more and more public speaking, and it's really taught me a lot, and a lot of interviews with people. And so I love doing interviews, and it's a blast once you get over those fears. But you will never get over those fears until you step out and try things that you've never tried before. And again, change is something you get every time you go after something new. And so I encourage you to find some way of being creative. So it might be building an addition on your house. It might be you building a pool in your backyard. It might be a dollhouse. It might be a project in your house. It might be something that you're doing for work. But I love creatives, and I want to give a shout out and say, so the number one reason I love creatives is they create things that make life easier for all of us. They create entertainment. They make us smile. They help us accomplish things. And I love creatives for that. And I love people like Kyle in that photograph who catch me off guard wearing something really cool that night at our company Christmas party. And I had to snap that photograph with Kyle that night. And I've cherished that photograph for years. And we've had chances to collaborate together, and we are working together on a team right now. And so shout out to Kyle and his family. What an amazing group of people. So, okay. Enough time has gone by. Let's talk a little bit about Ratso. And Ratso is going to be showing up here in a minute. The cheese is out, so we should see him anytime now. But why the rat? Something about a rat, right? We grow up with different conditioning, right? Cultures that you grow up in. And so I grew up in a culture where I heard about rats, big rats in different communities. I actually saw some rats once, and they're one of those animals that aren't very popular, right? You don't want rats in your house. You don't want rats in your neighborhood. You don't want friends that act like rats. And so rats pretty well have a bad rap, right? And so there was a time when I started traveling as a ventriloquist. I had Rudy, which is a plant puppet in a pot. He actually was a hand puppet I bought online. It came down to about here. And then I decided it would be really cool to take Rudy out of just being on my arm where everybody could see my arm. and then hide my arm in a flower pot. So I purchased Rudy, and then I bought a flower pot, and I sewed together leaves myself, put the whole thing together, and that's how I made Rudy. And I call him Rudy the rhododendron, even though he doesn't look anything like a rhododendron, but that was his name. And then I found this pattern for a bear. I thought a bear would be really cool. And I always liked Yogi Bear when I was growing up as a kid. And so I thought it'd be really cool to have a bear. I actually had a fear of bears as a human, real bears. And me, I used to have nightmares about a bear taking kids out of a neighborhood. It was a mixture of a movie, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a scene in there, and my fear of bears. And so it's funny, but this bear used to, in my dream, used to come pulling through the neighborhood in like a Cadillac with the hood down, and there was kids tied up in the back. Believe it or not, this bear's driving this car through town, and me and my friends would run and hide. And that was just those fears combined. That's the way your brain works, right? My memory of this scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and my fear of bears all mixed together in a crazy dream. And I had this dream over and over and over again. So when I became a teenager and I was going to start doing some ventriloquism, I thought it would be so cool to take my fear of bears, right, and that whole concept, and have a bear puppet. That's where Benjamin C. Bear came from. I found a pattern, sewed him together, and then made him a puppet, put a milk carton inside his body to give it shape so I could put my arm up there. And so basically the head sticks down inside the body, and then it's sewn in there like a regular stuffed ventriloquist puppet, so I can stick my arm in there, hide him in his body, and then Benjamin C. Bear came alive. Then I ordered a Grandpa puppet. That's where Grandpa Jones came from. Later, I bought a bigger version of Grandpa Jones, and then I bought some regular ventriloquist dummies. I had 2 or 3 of those over the years. I sold my ventriloquist dummy about a year and a half ago, so I don't have one of those now. But the one thing, I always had this idea of this rat, and I had pictures I drew, and I wanted to create a rat puppet. And so I told this story. You can go back and watch the background who made Ratso. He's made down in Florida by the same woman who made Peanut, Jeff Dunham's puppet. But Ratso, the rat story, was because I wanted to take something that really didn't have a lot of value in a lot of people's minds and find the humor in it, find the comedy in that, create a character that I could use as a ventriloquist that would just give people great joy. And so that's what I want to do. And you can see that in the still image, the joy of creatives, being a creative. Because Ratso, I have discovered over the years with my grandkids, with my live stream audience, he's very popular. Everybody in my family likes Ratso the best out of all of my characters. So, guess who's here? What are you doing down there? Well, come up here. These people have been waiting for you. You're going to have to clean the cheese out of your teeth here, Ratso, because that looks ridiculous. So, are you ready to come up here? Yeah. Okay. And there he is. I was just talking about you, Ratso. You were? Yeah, I was talking about you because you are one of my all-time favorite puppets. A what? You're a puppet. No, I'm not. Yeah, you're a puppet. I have my arm in you right now. I do. Ratso, I have my arm in you. No, you don't. Yeah, I do. I have my arm in you. That's how your head moves. You cannot move your head like it's doing right now without my help. Oh, yes, I can. I'll show you. Okay, I'm not going to move my arm, and you go ahead and show me how you can move your head. You're moving your mouth, but I'm helping you move your mouth, but move your head side to side. I can't. No, you can't even talk unless I help you talk, because you are a incredible, amazing puppet. Yeah. Yeah, you are. And so with some help from me and some creativity, the two of us can have a conversation, which in itself is kind of crazy when you think about it. Yeah, well, it's not as crazy as eating cheese under your desk. You ate cheese under my desk? Yep, I did. So, Ratso, what would you like to say to tonight's audience about being creative? Oh, you are about as creative as I can see. I'm about as creative as you can see? Yep. Well, what about the people in our audience? Are there creatives out there? Yeah, there's lots of creatives. In fact, creatives watch my live stream all the time. Can you see them? No, all I can see is you and I. Yeah, well, right below that, see the lens right below that? Yep. That is where they are. They're inside that lens. Can you see them? Nope. Okay, well, they're there. You just have to trust me. Yeah, and then they chat down there. Can you see that? Yeah, that's DJ Ware and Thready. And, wow, there's Kevin Crawley. Yeah, those people right there are watching you live. No way. Yeah, right there. In fact, they can say hi to you right now, and it's going to pop up in the chat. Are you ready? Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so you watch, and I'll talk to them for a while. You're going to see their hi pop up right there. Okay? Right there. Yeah, right there. You just watch. It'll be on the screen here shortly. They're going to say hey and hi. Maybe even they might type out your name. It's Ratso. Yeah, you let them know. Ratso. Yeah, Ratso. So keep an eye on that, Ratso. So anyway, Ratso is a tool, right? A creative tool to have a conversation. And what I love about ventriloquist puppets, yeah, that's you. Keep watching. I love about ventriloquist puppets is that they can say things I can't say. Like what? Well, they can say things that I would never get away with. Oh, give me an example. Okay, look at the audience and tell them that they should never, 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 right, flush a toilet. I could never say that. Why not? Well, because it's ridiculous, but you could say it. Another, flush a toilet. Yeah, well, it's funny when you say it. It's ridiculous when I say it. Okay, I get it. Okay, so when you say it, oh, look. You got a hi, Ratso from DJ Ware. Hey. You got a hi, Ratso from Freddie Ponce, all the way from Venezuela. Sorry, Freddie. Venezuela? Yeah, he's all the way from Venezuela, and he's watching you right now. No way. Yeah, can you see him right there? Can you see? Are you looking inside the, Freddie's in there. Can you see him? Ratso. Freddie. Hey, DJ. Hey. Come back here. So anyway, they're in there and they're all saying hi to you right now. Is that not just the coolest thing ever? Yeah, that's cool. So we're about to celebrate a very special holiday here at our family. And I have a picture I'm going to share next week in our live stream. And I noticed that you're not in it. So I have a promise that I'm going to make the audience. Okay, what's the promise? You are going to be in our Thanksgiving family photograph. No way. Yeah, you're going to finally be in a Thanksgiving family photograph. In fact, Thanksgiving's not that far away. How long? It's really coming up very quick. So you need to run down there and start getting ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, I'm out. So Ratso is a creative tool, right? The perfect creative tool if you're a ventriloquist, to entertain kids, to entertain adults. And everything I'm doing tonight is ad lib. Obviously, it's probably obvious. That was not a routine, but I really wanted to bring Ratso tonight to the live show so that you guys can enjoy a moment with him and just talk a little bit about how he is a part of the creative world I'm in. So not only could you use Ratso in a live stream, you could use him with children, which Ratso did have one live performance years ago in front of a bunch of kids and a bunch of adults. I think there was about 100 and some people were there, had a whole routine with music, and his crate that he used to travel in was there with all the stickers and stamps from all around the world. And Ratso performed live. I don't have any video footage of that, but it was great. And then a good friend of mine, Bryson Foster, was there as well. And it was a blast to do that live for that audience. But he could be in a kids show. There's just lots of things you can do with a creative tool. So it could be a dollhouse for just you to enjoy. It could be a character like Peanut, Jeff Dunham's characters, or now he's using a 3D printer to print his puppets. Ahmed, the terrorist, is a 3D printed puppet that Jeff Dunham prints from a very high-end 3D printer. And he did a recent puppet that he built during the COVID years where he wasn't doing routines, and that was pretty incredible. Sorry, I did say that word online, but again, you guys can be creative in a number of different ways, and Ratso's just an idea that I had, and came to fruition because someone had the creative ability to create a puppet as cool as Ratso. He is getting older now. He's quite a few years old. I think I purchased him around 2005 or six, somewhere around there. So he's getting a little bit older, and eventually I'll either have to have another one made or have to just basically patch him up. We'll see. I've already had to make some repairs. So live streaming needs a why. That's what we talked about in the first show tonight, the live show. And in the post show, creatives are the people that really help us. They help us learn. They help us explore. They help us laugh. They create for us that we can buy materials and things we can use, everything from a snowmobile to a shovel. I mean, imagine these are all things that people created. And so I love creatives because I believe so much of our world comes from that creative world that's out there. So again, thank you guys for saying hi to Ratso. Oh, what do I got here? Sorry, let's go back to me and a logo. Let me switch to that right there. Turn chat on the air again. I apologize. So Freddie says hi to Ratso. DJ Ware said hi to Ratso. Again, we don't have a huge bunch of people here tonight, but I saw Hank here earlier, Freddie, Kevin Crawley, DJ Ware. Thank you so much. Tony was on here earlier as well. Thank you for the shout outs to Ratso. So do you have a creative project you're working on right now? I'd like to know. Shannon's working on her dollhouse. I'm getting ready to do this project for Forest River in Dallas, Oregon. I'm excited about that. We're going to be having a meeting next week. I have a call on Friday to start thinking through the process of what we're going to do when we get down there so we can spend the 2 days shooting. And so what are you working on? What kind of creative projects do you have going right now that are that you or your family doing? I'd love to have you share those tonight in the chat. Thank you, Freddie, for shouting out to Ratso. I appreciate that very, very, very much. And Freddie said hi to Ratso earlier. Didn't look like that got popped up on there. So again, anything you're working on creatively right now before we go tonight? It is already 6:20, so we have been on the air for over 2 hours. Started at 4 o'clock. Actually, I wrote my intro reel at about 7 minutes, 8 minutes till. So it's been a long night. It's getting hot in the studio, but I'm excited about the Tilta Mirage Cage in the live show. It's coming on Friday, so we will be unboxing that next Tuesday live at 4 o'clock. We'll see if we have a post show next week, but Ratso is a rat character that I added to my repertoire of tools. It's in my tool chest that I can bring out anytime in a live show. And I brought one more little friend here. What are you doing down here, Grandpa Jones? We got a rat. You got a what? We have rats. We have rats? Yeah. Well, Grandpa Jones, say hi to everybody out there in the land of live streaming. Hi. Hey, how you doing? So, what's happening, Keith? Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. Oh, I love turkey. Turkey. You like turkey? Yeah. So it's good to have you here, Grandpa Jones. So why don't you say good night? Good night. No, say good night to them. Good night. And go chase Ratso and make sure that he doesn't get in the refrigerator and eat all the cheese. Okay. So a little confused tonight on the voice of Grandpa Jones. I haven't practiced in a while, so I apologize. So that's it for tonight's live stream. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the post show. Post show is kind of behind the scenes, the things that I'd like to talk about. Hopefully we'll have some more post shows in the future. We are planning on doing a live post show, building the new bat cycle with Christopher. And he and I are planning that, so watch very carefully. It may not be on a Tuesday. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll be doing a live at the end of this month down in Dallas, Oregon on my phone. And we'll be live unboxing the Tilla Cage this next Tuesday in the 4 o'clock live. And I'm hoping to also do a live from the garage again with Shannon's dollhouse and have a conversation there. So we'll see how that goes in the future as well. And it'll be fun to see Christopher's project coming together, Shannon's dollhouse project coming together, all the creative things going on here in the Bennett household. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight. Thank you so much for joining me and supporting the channel. You can do that by liking the videos. If you have not subscribed to the post show, please subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get alerts about the post show. Hopefully you'll get alerts about other things happening on my channel. I will be uploading some videos, I promise you. I'm working on some ideas right now and have some partly finished, so we'll see how that goes. So until the next live stream, which will be again next Tuesday, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.